This film also had the creepiest Santa. And you could,
oh my god, yeah! We need to find the fourth dimension, and by finding all these tiny little perfect things that happen in our neighborhood or in our town or whatever, we're gonna find the fourth dimension, and we're missing one. I'll pick Andrew Garfield. Peter 3.
Peter 3.
Ooh, that comic book filter.
This green ball?
This green tennis ball is Vecna, yeah. We're talking about Chippendales the dancers, right? Not Chippendales the chipmunks? Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about. Fuck, school fish bread. Why am I so cold? Yeah, what is the temperature right now anyway?
It's like in the double digits, and I'm like, I'm so cold. What a weenie.
My Apple Watch doesn't even know. Okay, it's 9 degrees. It just finished raining, actually, on my end of town.
Oh.
Yeah. We got a nice sprinkling of rain.
That's good. We got a sprinkling of, like, wet snow.
Ah.
And then it cleared up, so that was our rain, I guess.
Yes.
Close of our rain.
I just want a green summer. That's all I want. I want to actually lay on the grass in my backyard this year.
And then hope there's no poop nearby?
Yes.
Or did you put a little blankie? Did you put a little blankie down or no?
Yes, I have done that.
Mm.
Definitely last year I did that because our lawn was just like dead grass, straw. It was just like dry and spiky, but Arnie at least is. I guess both. I'm assuming all dogs do this to a degree, but Arnie and Tonka both were like they had a section of the yard that was their bathroom, and they would leave that, and then the rest of the yard would just be their play area. So it's nice, at least. It's not like the whole entire yard was full of dog poop. It was just like a section in the back of the yard where they would go and do their business.
That's interesting, though. Hold on before I right. Hey, Cinema Peeps, I forgot we're doing a podcast.
Hey,
I just lost in thought. The thing with the dogs, though. So I was house sitting for a family, and they've had 3 dogs, and all 3 dogs, like their whole thing was that they had. Well, they still do. They have like their front closet with like their jackets and their boots, but their first dog decided like that was where they wanted to sleep. So they moved the boots, the dog stayed there, had her bed and her toys. And then when she passed away, they moved the shoes back. But then the next dog wanted to be there.
Oh, really?
And now their new dog, that's where he is.
Oh.
So there's got to be something
where
they're like, oh, this is where we are? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Especially the bathroom thing is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would think, the world's my playground, but maybe since Tonka did it first, Arnie just knows, like, oh, this is where I poop.
Right? Well,
somehow.
we have our backyard's long. It's narrow, but it's long. Like it's not very wide, but he at least has length to run. And so I don't know if that's just like if there's something that like they logically can gauge that. Oh, well, if I leave a little bit of like. Just give myself a little space in the back to do my business. I have the rest of the yard to play and like all that space, right? I don't know how it works,
right?
But yeah, they both did that. It was really weird.
I was gonna say we should have finished watching that pet science show that we were watching the one time you were down here. Maybe we would have learned something. Right. I just remember the first part where they're like, this dog loves to go skydiving.
Yeah, he likes to base jump.
Yeah. Does he though? They're like, look how happy he is. And he was just kind of like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, he looks super pumped to be doing this.
Yeah, when they first like base jumped off the cliff, the look on his face was just like, no.
And the narrator, see, he really enjoys it. I'm like, why are we gaslighting everybody? Maybe this dog really doesn't enjoy it. He puts up with it, maybe.
Yeah.
For his owner's sake, right? Like, I'm like, all right, guys, whatever.
That's so funny.
That's what it made me think of. I was like, damn, we didn't finish that show. Oh, well, maybe we'll have to finish it another time.
Yes, that'll be something we continue on our next meetup and hang.
Right? We watch a little bit of something and then maybe 6 years later we'll finish it.
Yeah.
Every little time.
Right?
I like it. I like it. Well, you said you'd watched a whole bunch of movies and stuff this week.
I did.
I had like every good intention to do that, but now that the fam jam's back, we finished up and completed Mandalorian season 3. So that's about.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, oh, actually, no, that's not all I got up to. We also watched the finale of the Spencer Sisters, but that was about it for our TV watching. Was just collecting up the episodes that we had missed and
nice.
Got it all done.
Yeah, I think my family and I are behind an episode of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, we're gonna be like 3, so that's fine.
Yeah, because there was a new episode this past week, wasn't there?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's being released episodically, and there's
Every
no
week.
Breaks. Unlike some of these shows, they're taking 3 weeks breaks, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Fucking weird, but I'd say CSI is even worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, CSI Vegas season 2 has had like sometimes 3 to 4 week breaks between episodes.
Wow.
Especially this like later half, and I don't know what's going on that show. I really just wanted to watch them do their thing, and I'm just like, what is happening, guys? Please explain, please. And I'm wondering, again, this is just a theory I have. I have no actual evidence to back this up because I didn't do any Google research, but I get the vibe that maybe, because last season they got a 13 or 15 episode season, and so I'm wondering if like going into season 2, the writers or producers were like, okay, this is how many episodes we have again, and they maybe wrote for that, and then maybe they were greenlit for more episodes, and now they're trying to stretch the story that wasn't many. It was supposed to be more contained, because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Okay.
Is that they're really trying to stretch some of this out. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you could have so much time to like talk about this and like let the show breathe, but maybe they just didn't in reality.
Yeah.
They maybe thought they only had so many episodes. At least that's just the vibe I'm getting from it.
Huh, interesting.
And then when they have huge ass breaks like that, it just makes me mad. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, nothing will beat OG CSI.
Yeah, no, nothing.
CSI Las Vegas, the original, was the bomb.
Thebomb.com.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Act asleep. But yeah, so that was our week of just wrapping up with shows and whatnot.
Nice. Awesome. I was continuing to watch my Outer Banks series as we covered on the last podcast. But the new one that I watched was a Zena recommendation via TikTok. She saw I don't know if it was just clips or a trailer or whatever she saw on TikTok of this movie, and she watched it, and then she wanted to watch it with me. It's called Fall on Netflix. It's a thriller, kind of like a survival thriller. So I'll give you the premise of this because it's wild.
Excellent, right?
So the premise of it is, there's these two best friends who are thrill seekers. One's more of a daredevil than the other. But the one was married to a guy, and he also was all like a thrill seeker or whatever. So they'd go bouldering, like rock climbing and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And there was an accident that happened when they were bouldering, and he fell to his death. And
hate when that happens.
Right. And so it caused some tension between the friends and things like that. Obviously, she was grieving, and what happened was, she, what was it again? I'm mixing things up. Okay, so they end up reconnecting, and the daredevil friend invites the friend who lost her husband to go climbing with her again. But the thing she wants to climb this time is a 2,000-foot tall radio tower.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere.
Hell yeah.
So they were like, okay, let's do it. So they decide to climb this 2,000-foot tall radio tower in the middle of nowhere. And lo and behold, what happens? The ladder breaks. Dun, dun, dun. And they get stuck at the very top of the tower, and they have to try to survive on this, like, 5-foot-long platform.
Sorry, so both their husbands are dead?
No, so the one girl's husband. Sorry if I wasn't clear.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
she was the only one married out of all of them. So it was her and the boy, and then the other friend, and the other friend who's the daredevil was the one who wanted to climb this tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was wild. It was pretty
bet.
wild. It was good though. Like I enjoyed it for sure. From what I know, it sounds like they shot it like 100 feet up in the air, in real life, and all the both ladies did their own stunts. It sounds like too, which is impressive. And some of the aerial shots that they got was like, like it was just like stomach churning. You were like, oh my god. So I don't know if I have a fear of heights. I'm not comfortable with heights, like really high heights. So I can only imagine what someone with like a horrible fear of heights would feel like watching this movie.
I would say I'm probably on the same boat as you. I don't think I have a fear of heights, but again, I don't want to test that.
Yeah, right?
But wow, interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. And there's a twist in the movie too.
Ooh.
It stars, if anybody's familiar with Shazam, Mary, one of the Shazamly people. She's also in this movie. She's one of the main. She's the girl who's married to the guy who ends up dying. But yeah, it was intense. So good recommendation from Zenna.
Okay, can I call the twist?
What?
Or shoot, I had 2 ideas for the twist. Goddamn. Tell me if I'm on the right path. Anyway. Okay. So, husband dies, mysterious accident? I don't think so. I think either the friend somehow bouldered up there and pushed him off, and she didn't see her friend do it, or he was a piece of shit, and the wife was like, you know what? Fuck you, and pushed him off, and was like, wonder how he died.
I mean, not so much, but
so close.
Kind of in a way where you find out that the friend had an affair with the husband.
Ooh.
So that happened. But then later on, there's a point where she's stranded, or they're both stranded on the top of the tower, and they kind of do this like sequence where she falls asleep and wakes up, and she's like exhausted from like, you know, lack of water, lack of nutrients, all that kind of stuff, and she's talking to her friend. And like you'd have to kind of watch the movie to see the whole like sequence play out basically, but she's talking to her friend, and her friend's kind of trying to tell her like, you need to stay with me, like you need to eat something. And she's like, how can we eat something? We're 2,000 feet up in the air and there's nothing to eat out here. She's like, oh, there's always something. And then at some point she like, I don't know if she just like clues into something, or she asks, yeah, that's what it is. She's like, I need you to give me your shoe, because then what I can do is I can send a message on my phone, because like whatever it was like they didn't have service up on the tower,
right?
But they figured that they could MacGyver a way of sending a text message and like stuffing it in her shoe and padding it so that when they dropped it on the ground at some point it would get a signal and like send a text message for help.
Okay.
So that was kind of the gist of what she was trying to get at there. But then her friend goes, I can't give you my shoe. And she goes, why not? And it's like, and she says, because I'm not actually here. I'm down there. And then you kind of go, what? And then you find out, because at some point earlier on, there was a stunt that they tried to do where the friend tried to lower herself down to the satellite, or not a satellite dish, whatever sort of kind of thing that's below them, to grab the backpack that fell. And supposedly when she did that, initially what they show is that she grabs the bag, comes back up, and all is good. But actually what happened was that she didn't make it. She slipped and fell and died. And so the vultures kind of got to her, and she's just kind of laying there on this platform dead underneath. But because of all the shock and everything that the other girl was going through, she was in her head imagining that her friend had made it. So this whole entire time, you think that her friend's with her, but she's actually been up there by herself this entire time. Yeah.
Why didn't she use her own shoe?
That's a good question. I feel like...
Did she wear sandals?
Well, because the girl the best friend was wearing Chuck Taylors, so like sneakers. But she was wearing they're like barefoot shoes, so they're like the kind of shoes that you wear rock climbing. So they're like the thinnest material possible so that you can like use the full functionality of your feet.
Yeah,
so obviously I don't think there was much shock absorbent in those shoes, so that was why using the Chuck Taylors was gonna be the smarter route, I guess.
But then, okay, I don't want to get, but then why wear those shoes at all on a hike?
Right?
Like, WTF, no wonder your husband died. He was probably also wearing some bullshit shoe that he probably shouldn't have been wearing. What the fuck?
Yeah.
See, kids, it really matters what you wear on your feet.
That's why you always
support.
wear the proper attire. Always come prepared.
Because apparently your hallucinating friend won't fucking lend her shoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch.
So long story short, she realizes her friend's dead, and she ends up having to like try to like lower herself down to get to her friend's body to get the shoe so that she could send a text message for help. And she does it, and she survives in the end. Hooray. But but it's pretty scary.
But now she's been on 2 hikes where 2 people she knows have died.
Yeah.
I think this woman's a murderer. She is straight up a murderer. And in her mind, she imagined, she's like, oh, she was going for the supplies. And then in reality, she already found out somehow that she was cheating on her husband. So she was fuck you! And just kill her.
Her dad in the movie is Negan. So it's not far off. She could be a murderer, you know?
Yeah, that's my new headcanon. She's a murderer. You can't. This woman's gone on 2 hikes and people have been dead.
Yeah. The thing, like, just some of the like survival tactics that they were trying to do, though, like in my mind, they seemed unrealistic, but also just obviously for the sake of the adrenaline and the anxiety that they were trying to induce in this movie. It's like, okay, because there's a stunt where so the best friend had brought a drone with her. And they figure, because she's okay. So some context, she's doing this all for YouTube content.
All right, so we're in the middle of course, she's a fucking YouTuber.
Yes,
she has a drone. Like,
yeah. So she's a daredevil YouTuber who does all this daredevil-y thrill stuff for the views, and so she's got a drone and all the stuff that a vlogger needs to create the content.
The content.
So they figure they can write a note on the back of the receipt from the diner that they were at the day before. Also, they figured the one girl's like, should we pack snacks? And the girl's like, nah, we'll be up and down before dinner time. Like, always pack snacks, man. Never not pack snacks. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a trip with no snacks?
Yeah.
All right, red flag. Bad script.
Exactly, right?
Bad script. 0 out of 10.
First mistake.
0 out of 10.
Yeah, so they write a note to send help on this receipt and figure they can slide it into the battery pack of the drone so that it's like hanging out a little bit, and then they can fly the drone to the diner that's like they can see it from the binoculars, like it's far away, but at least they could try to fly the drone close enough to the diner that someone will find it and hopefully rescue them. But unfortunately, the battery died, and they don't have a way of charging it. So they're like, how do we do this? And so like in the beginning of the movie, at one point when they're sitting in the diner, the one girl's phone is dead, and she's like, oh man, I need a charger. And there's like a little lamp at the table. So she's like, the best friend's like, oh, I have a trick that I can show you. So she like unscrews the light bulb, takes the prongs to the charger, and like puts it in the socket. And apparently if you match up like the things properly, you can create a charge to charge the phone. So they keep hinting as they climb this tower, they keep showing that like at the very, very, very tippy top of the tower, there's this bulb that flashes to, warn the airplanes that there's a tower here so they don't fly into the tower, right? So of course, the drone dies. They need something to charge the battery with. So what do? They look up at the bulb, and the one girl's like, I've got an idea. So she basically like shimmies her way up this pole and has to like unscrew the bulb cover and take out the bulb and like hold herself up like as if she's pole dancing on this thin like pole and like charge the drone. So yeah, it was was pretty interesting.
But at this point, the friend is dead.
Yes, at this point, the friend is dead.
So they don't have the drone.
No, she still has the drone because the backpack was at least saved, but the girl, the best friend didn't.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, there's a couple leaps that I'm not believing in this film. Like, if they're like, and again, this is probably my bad, but to me, it seems like if you're gonna do stuff like that, like, you should. Like, some of this should be very common knowledge.
Right?
And the factoid is, like, first of all, not bring snacks on a trip. That's garbage. Right? I would never go anywhere without snacks. Horrible. Mm-hmm. I even brought snacks for this weekend. Like, yeah, see, like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Second of all, if the diner's, like, if they can see the diner, and again, they probably didn't have this, but you should have, like, a smoke flare or something. Or no, like a flare. And then you shoot it off the top of the fucking tower, and then you'd hope somebody there would be like, that's fucking weird. Or create a fire. I don't know. Burn the forest down. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me that I'm like, these people should have, like,
really thought it through.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but I mean, I guess that's kind of like, that's kind of the trope for these, like, survival movies, like these thriller survival movies is that who can we create a story about that's smart enough to survive but dumb enough to forget the basics, basically, and have to, like, figure out how to get the basics. And this movie in particular, I think because it was advertised a lot on TikTok, I think is obviously geared towards the younger generations too, because they do talk a lot about, like, why are you doing this for the likes and the views? Like, you should really be showcasing your authenticity online. And, like, yeah. So, yeah. Right?
Okay. So, all right, I'm going to rewrite the movie, okay? Let's rewrite the movie. So, I think, and I mean, to be fair, I don't watch a whole lot of stuff like that genre does not appeal to me. It's very rare. I think probably one of the only ones I ever saw was that shark movie that we thought was going to be more of a thriller. It was, oh my God, it was like, I don't even remember the date. It's so old. It was like this couple go on, like, a shark diving trip, and then the fucking person leaves them there, so they're stuck in the middle of the ocean. With sharks. I cannot. The title's escaping me. I think that's the only survivor movie-esque, like, genre movie.
Okay.
But, like, I feel like you shouldn't have to make them that stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe, like, have a couple series of unfortunate events happen, maybe. And again, like, maybe that's stretching it a little bit, you know? But then I feel like some of that's just not earned, you know? Yeah. It's like, well, of course you could have gotten out of the situation. Like, why is everyone so dumb? This is ridiculous.
Right?
Like, oh my God. Like, rewrite it better. Like, maybe there's a journey she has to go. Like, maybe that's the whole, like, maybe that was the intention of the writers, was this girl to go on a journey, but, like,
which it technically was. It was kind of the underlying theme was that, like, she gave up doing the thrill-seeking stuff after her husband died from the accident. So she had no purpose in life. And so then when the friend came back to reconnect with her, she was like, do this with me. Once you do this, you won't be afraid of anything ever again. And so that was kind of like the motive for her, I guess, was to try to heal. Oh, and she was going to spread his ashes from the top of the tower as, like, a way to, like, have closure.
I hope there was a wind and she got some in her mouth. What a stupid.
I mean, again, like, I know you're not a fan of those movies, so obviously you probably won't check it out. But to anybody listening, check it out for yourself. I'm trying not to shit on it. It was good. I was entertained for the thrill of it all. If you like that kind of stuff, but yes, as with most horror / survival thriller movies, you have to suspend some disbelief in some aspects, or just, you know, laugh silently to yourself at the dumb nature of some of these people and how you would not do that. And in the end, you do learn, you know, what not to do in those scenarios. So you do get to learn something out of it.
Wow. Wow, because I was gonna ask, like, what's the point of the husband even being dead? And so that makes if they're gonna spread the ashes, sure. again, that seems like in such poor taste. And also, like, makes zero sense on top of a radio. Like, some people, like, and again, do what you want with your loved one's ashes, but that just seems kind of weird.
Yeah. No, there was definitely a lot of questionable stuff, but again, it was all done for the sake of building up that like tension or that like the panic, because like there was a point where she's like, the best friend is like, okay, we need to take some photos for the content and everything. So she decides she's going to free hang off the side of the platform and get the girl to take a picture of her, and then she like hangs with one arm, with her arm like dangling out. So she gets a picture of it, and then she goes, okay, now it's your turn, to the girl who lost the husband. So she goes and does it, but instead of hanging off of the plate, she's hanging off the girl's arm. So the girl's like holding on to her and holding her off the side of this platform to take a photo of her. I'm like, huh? Like, I was like, why would you do that? No. So yeah, that to me was the most, like, one of the most dumbest things. But again, it was for that panic of like, is she gonna drop her? What's good? Like, that was like the first kind of like, for the.
I mean, like, what a shitty best friend.
Right?
Just so you know, I will never do that to you.
Okay.
I will never do that to you. Like, what?
I will
the
also
turd
never
nugget?
do that to you.
Thank you. What?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and to be fair, like, I don't know what I would do in that situation, but like at the end of the movie, does she feel less? Like, does she feel something? Because I know if I was her, I'd just feel numb. I'd be like, cool, I just lost my husband and my best friend doing this idiotic trip.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine she walked away being like, you know what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like,
it's not a Disney movie ending where it's like, you know what? I found myself.
Right?
Eat, pray, love, baby.
Eat, pray, love, yeah.
Like, what?
I feel like I cannot remember because, again, my body was still like coming down from the panic high of just like all that happened. But I feel like she hugs Negan, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan is her dad. So he comes, they embrace, and I feel like the last thing she says is like, I'm not scared anymore. And then, yeah.
Not likely. I think I'd have more trauma. Yeah, this girl's a serial killer. That's it. New trauma. She is the serial killer. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, it was a wild movie. But still, oh, she's done. That's it. She's out. She's out.
Even my headphones falling off. Wow. Okay, sorry. So that was Fallen on Netflix.
Fall. Yeah, Fall on
Fall.
Netflix.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fall on Netflix. Okay.
Yes.
I'll skim the trailer one day and be like, yes.
Yes.
Just be like, all right. Did it, boys and girls. Did
we
it.
Came, we saw, we conquered.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I had something super exciting, but yeah, we just finished Mandalorian.
Hey, that's cool too.
Although I don't know, it's a kind of a cool thing. Anyway, so because I've been reading Dexter lately, which I've been hankering to get back to, my parents were reading this book called Oh my god, something chemistry. Lessons in Chemistry. Good. I didn't have to Google it because I remembered. Thank God. Yeah, so my dad read this book and then he really enjoyed it. So my mom read it and they were like, you should read it too. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to get around to it. It was in the back of my mind. But yeah, so they read this book. They really enjoyed it. And then I found the announcement and Brie Larson, I believe, is playing the lead.
Oh.
So I'm kind of pumped. So I think that means this summer I'm going to have to read the book. Although now that I've said that, I should probably put a hold on it at the library because now I've realized that it's now been announced. Oh, fuck me. I'm not going to look at the book.
Oh, no.
Oh, boys. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boys. Oh, boys.
Oh, no.
But yeah, that's been on my radar. And I was like, that looks like it could be really cool.
Nice.
It's supposed to be about a chemist turned baking show host.
Okay.
It's one of those ones, I think it's like a dark comedy, at least the way my parents described it. It's about, yeah, like I said, this woman who works as a chemist. And unfortunately, she gets abused by her colleagues. So then she leaves and ends up becoming this host of a cooking show. And I guess one of the things is that her male coworker stole her work and published it. So she's like, F this, I'm leaving.
This oddly, I don't know why, but this oddly sounds like a Hallmark movie. I feel like wasn't there a Christmas Hallmark movie that was very similar?
Probably. Although I think this one's supposed to be darker and with sexual assault, so it's not as
okay.
Yeah, it's not in the same. But you know what? I could see that being a thing on Hallmark.
Yeah. I have two things. So on the topic of books, I just finished reading a book called Fix Her Up. It's a romantic comedy book.
Okay.
But the reason I bring it up is because when I was reading the acknowledgments from the author, apparently she drew inspiration from a couple of people for the main characters of this book. And one of them, for the main girl character, her inspiration was Melissa Benoist, so Supergirl.
Ooh.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's about like this girl who she works as her career is that she's a party clown.
Okay.
And she's the youngest of her family, and so she feels like everybody still treats her like a child all the time. And so then all of a sudden one day her older brother had this best friend who she had a huge crush on, and he went on to be like this big baseball league star, and I guess like he injured himself and he had to come back home, and like his career was ended, and so she always had this huge crush on him, and so now he's back in town, and so she's trying to hit him up and everything, and she asks him, or she proposes the idea of fake dating him so that her family will take her seriously and treat her like an adult, and so that he can like move on with his life and like get a new job because he has a reputation of being like a bad boy kind of thing. So yeah. All in all, the reason I brought it up was just because of the whole Melissa Benoist thing, but
that's cool.
It was a good book. It was interesting.
And that guy had a clown fetish, so it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Likes a lady with big feet.
Right?
And a big red nose.
Big red nose. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool beans.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was going to mention, I don't know if you've seen it, or if we talked about it before and I've just blanked on it. But did you hear that they've announced that there's going to be a Twilight TV series in the making?
No, I did not hear about that.
Yes. I don't know how much truth there is behind it, but I did see an article that was saying that there's in the works a Twilight series.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd only heard that HBO Max or Max, sorry, as it wants to be called now, is creating a Harry Potter TV series.
Oh.
Now, granted, when they made the announcement, they just said series. They didn't really specify anything. And I'm wondering if that was intentional, because a lot of people that automatically assumed they were redoing the books as a TV series. Granted, like, I don't know if there's anything really to back it up, but people are already upset. And I mean, on some degree, I would say if the announcement was to redo, I'd be kind of in that same boat. Again, maybe I'm just old, but I'm like, that series, well, I guess it now will be about, I think it's about 12 or 11 years old. And you're already trying to remake it.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, especially when it just seems like the fandom has been asking for like other spin-offs. Like one of the other, I think one of the most popular ones is a Marauders series. Marauders? I think I'm saying that completely wrong. But like, kind of like the tales from like Harry Potter's dad and all his friends in school.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right? And literally like any other spin-off, I would.
Yeah.
Agree. I'm like, yeah, cool. Like expand the universe. Why not? But yeah, so I think some people are jumping the gun saying that they think it's going to be a remake of the movies, but there's, from what I understand, no real evidence. And like I said, they made it very vague. They announced it. They said there's going to be a series, but and I mean, who knows?
I feel like too, because Harry Potter's so iconic, like the franchise, that it almost seems sacrilege to redo it as a TV series, or just redo it at all in general.
Right. And some people thought it could be The Cursed Child, although I think other people are saying it's being made into a movie. So
interesting.
There's some options. But for Twilight, did it say if it was going to be like on a streaming service of any kind, or
I don't remember if it was like,
okay.
I'm trying to remember if I saw a network that was talking about it. I feel like Twilight TV series in early development at Lionsgate.
And that's like a movie studio, though.
Right?
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's no other details other than that I've seen. I don't know if that means people will be reprising character roles or if it's just like you said, like a spin-off in the world of Twilight, or who knows.
Yeah. As I say, I thought they had a prequel book, but I think the one I'm thinking of is a book written from Edward's perspective of like the first book.
Right.
Not Bella's, so.
Although, I mean, part of me is kind of interested if they would redo the story of Twilight as a TV series. Now that it's been so long since the original ones came out, and they've seen the kind of, the things that went wrong maybe, or where they could have done better and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Am I old?
Interesting.
It doesn't, like, Twilight to me also doesn't feel like that old.
I think it came out in 2007.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2008 for like the first one. It just feels weird.
Right? I think it's like 2006, 2007 seems like.
Yeah, 2008 is when the first Twilight came out.
Okay.
Again, a series that's not really even 10 years old from the last movie. I mean, I know we've kind of talked about this before, but I think they need to kind of nip some of that shit in the butt.
Right?
Again, I love Harry Potter. I love all these things, but like, it just kind of feels at this point, studios don't want to make a risk. They're like, we'd rather go with something we know is going to sell versus not. And to be fair, I think creating a new IP is very difficult. And obviously very, like, probably a very high, not a very low investment. I don't know. I shouldn't try to use words. I'm not smart enough to use words. It's just a higher risk.
Yeah.
Than versus something where they're like, oh yeah, even this is kind of like flops. Like they're still fine at the end of the day.
But even that's like, I guess, yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there where you said like, what's gonna sell? And I feel like that seems to be the case, because even Christy Carlson Romano was saying on one of her YouTube videos I watched where that was kind of Disney's thing. It was like, we're trying to with animation in the. She was talking about animation. Animation in the 80s and 90s, I think, didn't have a real storyline set to them. It was just, what can we make to sell the next toy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I think she said when Batman the animated series came out, the first one with Kevin Conroy, there was actual like substance and story to it, and it just was so great, and it was just so groundbreaking, and like people were invested in it, that it really changed the course of animation. It was no longer just kind of like, these stories didn't really go anywhere. That was just more about the selling the merchandise kind of thing.
Oh yeah, a lot of early like cartoon shows from like, I mean, G.I. Joe, like they were all meant to sell the toys.
Yeah,
it was never
Transformers.
Yeah. So that is good to know that Batman is the best. So, makes sense.
Hell yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I on the aspect of there being a TV series for Twilight, again, I wasn't like a super huge Twilight fan. But growing up in that era where it came out, and it it got all the backlash, but it still had its like cult following and stuff like that, I would be interested if they wanted to remake it and kind of like try to maybe make it a little bit better than the other one, or at least less corny in the aspect of like how things turned out. But I mean, the diehard fans will always stand by the original series and stuff. And
I was gonna say, I never read the books, but I always got the impression that really didn't have a whole lot of substance to begin with. So
yeah, it's just trashy teen romance, and yeah.
But you know what? Do what you want. I will not be subscribing to that. But yeah, if it makes other people happy, cool beans. Cool beans. And I think on that note, that's where we'll end our podcast today.
Yes.
Thank you for falling with us. And
do you have any recommendations?
Oh, do I?
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
Watch watch the Spencer Sisters.
Yeah?
I enjoyed the finale, and it seems like, according to Leah Thompson, she kind of seemed to hint that there was big news coming about the show, so hopefully that means it's getting renewed for a season 2.
Cool.
We'll have to wait and see.
Nice.
How about you?
Mine would be, watch Fall if you're into that. But my other one would be to watch, I know we talked about it a couple of times on our podcast previously, but watch the Ned's Declassified podcast, because it's fun for the nostalgia, but the last couple episodes that they've done, like, they've just really gotten into some, like, really, like, deep, like, adult life stuff. And
I've seen some of the highlights, and I'm like, damn.
Right? And I'm thoroughly impressed and surprised, and also just glad that there's people in our generation that aren't, that don't think like, you see all the mainstream people. Like, it gives me hope, at least. And it's just some of the stuff they talk about really puts things into perspective. So I'm like, damn, like, this is good. Like, people should watch this. This is really good. They gave you good life advice back in middle school when you watched Ned's, like, on TV, and now the three of them kind of give you some great, like, adult life advice too. So I give them props. I need that every day.
Hell yeah. Life.
So yeah, I say go check out Ned's Declassified podcast. They have it on YouTube and everywhere else you listen to podcasts. But yeah.
Hells yeah. But also listen to ours, because we're most important. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and listening. If you want to leave any comments about anything we talked about today or any recommendations, leave that in the comments down below. So I do like this for the rest of the time. If you leave us a deuce. If you know, you know. And consider subscribing to two pretty cool gals, in my opinion. But anyway, cinema peeps, watch all the content, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monkey. And slay!